So it's just there you're going to find only landing pages that do perform well, that have been tested multiple times, and that have a good performance. Okay, so Dennis is asking for CPA Learners URL. It's not possible to get CPA Learners if you're not a member of CPA Evolution 2.0. We have plans to release this software to the market in probably 2 or 3 months from now, separately from CPA Evolution 2.0. But it's still not possible. So I'm mentioning this just because there are many CPA Evolution 2.0 members here, so I think that it's relevant for them. Okay, so CPA Learners is probably the easiest and fastest option if you have access to it. But if you don't, well, it's not the end of the world, of course. There are many other great tools. Lead Pages, it's not very cheap, but it's a great one. So I think it's, out of the other ones listed there, I think that Lead Pages is potentially the best one. Okay, very, very good tool. ClickFunnels by Russell Brunson, also very interesting tool, but it's more like let's say I think it's a little more advanced. If you're selling your own products and you have more complex funnels, maybe that's the way to go. If you want to go with something that's simpler and easier to set up, maybe Lead Page is a better option. Okay. Optimize Press 2.0 for people who are real fans of WordPress. I personally don't use WordPress a lot. I am not a big fan of WordPress. And well, Optimize Press 2.0 is a good tool, but I personally don't really like WordPress. I don't fall in love with WordPress, and well, if you like it, well, then I think it's a nice option. Especially if you don't want to pay a monthly fee, then that's definitely a good option. But I personally don't like this one very much because it's for WordPress. And then there is AdsBridge, which is becoming very, very popular, actually. I don't know if they still have this. They had a free plan for people getting started, a free trial that was very interesting. Maybe you're going to have to check adsbridge.com to see if it's still available. Yes, someone just said, Vasileus just said, yes, they still have it. Okay, so you can get started with a free trial and you can see if it's a good one. I think that it's a good one, and it also has a tracking tool that you can use and integrate with the page. So I think it's a really a decent one. Okay, so Fernando is saying, what do you use instead of WordPress? Well, for my own landing page, I would use HTML landing pages, and I also use CPA Landers. I create my landing pages actually, most of them using CPA Landers. So I use my own software. Before CPA Landers, before we created CPA Landers, I used to just use normal HTML pages, but so just add to the page on your computer, upload to your server, and that's it. I think that, for people who don't have any technical background, this might not be the best decision to do this. So I think that the best options are these tools listed here. Of course, there can be many others that I'm not familiar with, but among the ones that I'm familiar with, I think that these ones are very cool. Michelle said that InstaBuilder 2.0 is also a great drag and drop page builder. All right, that's so another suggestion, InstaBuilder 2.0. Okay, Miss Hannes is asking, Willem, what do you use for your own blogging platform? My blog's not on WordPress. It's on it's our own platform actually. I work with some developers here, and they developed a custom platform for us because we had some special needs and stuff like that. So yeah, I personally am not a big fan of WordPress, but I'm not saying that it's good, that it's not good, that it's bad. You can use WordPress. There's nothing wrong with that. If you use it properly, I think that sometimes people use too many plugins and stuff, and the websites become too the loading time of the websites becomes too long. But if you don't do that kind of stuff, I think that WordPress is a reasonable option. It's not a bad thing. John is asking, do you use video in creating your landing page? Yes, video is very, very useful because, with video, like a 1-2 minute video, you get to grab people's attention and you get to share a lot of information with them in a very, let's say, dynamic way. It's not, people don't, if they see lots of text for them to read, people are just too lazy, so it just discourages them from going through everything. So with video, video is a very good option when you have to share more information to get the opt-in. SendLane has nice landing pages included with the account. Yes, there is a landing page creation tool with SendLane that's very good indeed. That's true. Okay, let me see what else. Most autoresponders have is low load time. Well, I have actually never experienced that, Larry. Not sure actually, with Aweber, MailChimp, GetResponse, the ones that I listed there, SendLane, I have never experienced that. That's, I don't think that's very common actually. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so the steps that you have to go through for you to start building mailing lists, okay, and these steps that I'm going to give you here, they are a little bit generic, just, exactly, step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But as I said, this webinar, it's like an introduction. So after this, I'm going to be sharing more and more tips with you inside the group. So make sure to keep an eye on our Facebook group, because I'm going to be sharing with you there, and then you're going to be able to to learn more specific things, and really, we're going to be able I'm going to be able to share with you more in-depth information for each step. Okay, so the first one is obviously you have to drive traffic to a squeeze page. What traffic source you should use? What type of traffic? Well, it really depends. I think that you can build mailing lists with any type of traffic, or almost any type of traffic. At least, the traffic source that I have worked with, all of them were actually suitable for mailing lists. So for building mailing lists. So it's something that you can do this with Facebook, you can do this with search traffic, you can do this with media buys, video marketing, social marketing, whatever it is. But one thing that's very important, and we're going to talk about the metrics in a few minutes, but one thing that's very important is to have a nice squeeze page. Well, for me, let me share with you what I think are the most important elements of a good squeeze page. So the first thing is I have tested many different squeeze pages along the last few years, of course, like, literally hundreds of pages. For me, there are a few things that seem to be very important, kind of a common characteristics or common features of my top performing squeeze page. So the first one is to keep it simple and short. Do not put a lot of content. Do not put paragraphs of text. Do not give people lots of information. You have to make people curious about what is on the other side, and you have to show them that you have something that's truly interesting for them. That's all. For you to capture the email, that's all. You don't have to make think too much, and you don't have to turn this simple decision into a complicated, big decision. All right. So I have tested different types of landing pages, even pages that were full of content and information, and the ones that perform better are the very simple ones. Actually, one that did very well for me, not in the CPA arena, but actually when I launched my first CPA Evolution training program, I created a page that was just a headline with one line of text, and the email and field below, and the sign up button. And the only thing that the headline said was something like, something huge is about to happen. Sign up below to stay updated. Just something like this. Put the email field below, the submit button, and that's it. And lots of people registered. Like I think I hit a 48% opt-in rate with that page. Obviously, I had a very targeted campaign on Facebook, but still, just one line of text, the form, not even asking for people's name, just the email, and that's it. And so just an example to show you that keeping things simple is usually a better decision. Oh yes, and Larry's saying previous in terms are necessary to make it Facebook compliant. Yes, of course, you have to have those small links at the bottom. But I'm just talking about the main content of the page. Okay, so that's it. So what I like to do is just to have a headline, a nice one, short one. It has to be short because you have just like a fraction of a second to grab people's attention and to tell them that you have something, that to have something that's interesting for them, or that's going to be useful for them. So you have to grab their attention as fast as possible when they hit your squeeze page. Then I like to use bullet points because people don't read paragraphs of text, but they do read bullet points. And one thing that I found that's very interesting, actually I found this when testing lots of squeeze pages, but maybe there are some research that already, and maybe other people have already found out about this in the past, it's that there is a huge advantage in using a few words, in bolding a few words in your bullet points. Just like you see in this example. Because people, I think it's just an instinctive thing, like a psychological trigger, people tend to read the words in bold. And sometimes if they read just the bolded words, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to them. So they end up reading the entire bullet point for this because this is the only way for this to make sense for them. So if they get if they read the initial words, they don't get the whole thing, so they end up reading the entire bullet point. Okay, so if you use just like 3, 4, 5 bullet points with some bolded words, that is a very nice way to get people to read all of your bullet points, all of your content. And of course, if you're using those bullet points to expose some benefits and some really relevant things for them, you're gonna have much better chance of getting the opt-in. Then you give them the form, you give them the button, and that is it. As simple as that. What you need to have is you have a strong gift, a strong giveaway on the page. We're going to talk about this real soon. It's actually the next step. And you have to have a very targeted campaign. People who are going to your squeeze page, on the squeeze page, you have to offer them something very specific, and people going to that squeeze page have to be really tremendously interested in that specific thing. I'll also talk about this type of thing in a few minutes. Having a targeted campaign and being very specific. But just to give you an idea now on how it works, you have to have a strong squeeze page, you have to have a strong gift, but you have to have targeted traffic. Okay. All right. So that's that. Let's go to step number 2. You have to offer a gift to get people to opt in. There has to be something for them on the other side. You have to offer them something in exchange for their email, for their personal information. And I like to keep this simple, but well, you can go with PDF reports, you can go with video series, email series. You can even have kind of a free membership or something for them if you want to, raise the bar and take it to the next level. But what I like to do is I want to go with something that's a downloadable thing, something that they can download. And then what I do is, because I think it gives people a better experience. You're actually giving something to them. They can download it. They can put that on their hard disk, on their pen drive, on their phone. If it's a PDF, they can put that on their phone and read that when they have some free time. But you are actually you give them the kind of the feeling that they are really receiving something. I mean, if you give them something that's just like if you get the content from the PDF and put that on a web page, it's the same content. You're still delivering the same information, but the way that people feel it's different. It's more like a psychological thing. And when you give people something, and when you give that something them away for free, when you do this, they kind of feel that they are kind of in debt with you. And when you promote something to them, knowing that you have already given something to them is going to kind of impel them to go ahead and buy what you are promoting now, okay? Because they owe you something. It's just a psychological thing, but it's real, and it can have a huge impact on the campaigns. So I prefer to go with something that's downloadable, although it's not like a hard rule. It's just my preference because of this. Larry's saying download videos not as quick as PDF. Yeah, so for this reason, I think that PDF is usually giving people a PDF report is usually something that works very well. It's still very, it's not very fancy. It's very old. Actually, people have been doing this for several years now, but it still works very, very well. Okay, so I think it's probably still one of the best things that you can do. Okay, so June is saying also you can use thank you page to market further. Exactly. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. So here we go, June. Promote a free offer on your thank you page. But I like to go with a free offer on the thank you page, because here's the thing. When you're doing email marketing, you're building a group of people. That group of people will follow you. You're going to share information with them, and you're going to kind of build a relationship with them. They're going to learn how to trust you, and they're going to learn that you send them really good information. And, well, it takes time to build the trust and to actually establish a relationship. It doesn't happen like, just right after they subscribe for your list. So if they subscribe for your list right out of the gate, you try to promote something to them that they have to pay for, like something that requires a big decision. Maybe you're going to scare them, and some of them won't even see that with good eyes. Maybe the product that you are promoting is a phenomenal product. Maybe it's something really useful for them, but they don't know that yet, because they don't know if you deliver good stuff or if you deliver crap stuff. They have no way to know that yet. So first you have to prove to them that you are always trying to deliver quality stuff to them, and just then you try to sell something to them. So The thank you page is the page that people see right after they subscribe. I think it's a very important page because you already have there the opportunity to market something, but I would recommend you to use a free CPA offer when it's possible. In some cases, for some niches, maybe it won't be possible. If it's not possible, I'd say that it's better not to promote anything there than promoting something that requires people to actually make a payment. But most of the times it will be possible to go with a free CPA offer. And it could be an app install, something that converts upon a free registration, could be an offer that converts upon a download or something like that, all right? So, but something that's completely free for the end user. And then you deliver the gift by email. If you deliver the gift on the thank you page, that's going to distract the people. It means that they're going to download that gift because that's the reason why they subscribed for your list, and they're going to focus on that, and they're going to forget about your offer. Maybe they won't even see it. So just tell them that the gift will be delivered to them by email in like 5 minutes, and then in the meantime, you have another thing to show them that's also very interesting, and then you promote the offer. I think that this is the best way to do this, okay? Step number 4, deliver content. This one is very, very important. Once you start capturing emails, you have to start delivering useful content like right away. So deliver content like with an autoresponder series emails that are sent automatically to your subscribers after they subscribe, like every 1 or 2 days. You know, deliver information, help people. You know, people who are subscribing for your list, they want something, they need something, they have a problem that they have to solve. So the best way to actually establish a relationship with them and gain trust is by delivering content and helping them. Okay, and if you do this, you will also become an authority. If you help them solve a problem, they will see that you know, you have some real knowledge to share with them, and of course, it's going to make them kind of, you know, keep following you and, you know, start paying more attention to your emails. Okay, so Vishan is asking about smart retargeting. Yes, smart retargeting is something that I cover inside CP Evolution 2.0. It's a different strategy that we created here for actually showing people an offer first, like a free CPA offer, and then trying to get them to opt in. Yes, Vishan, that's a very, very nice strategy, but it's more advanced. I'm not going to be covering that on today's webinar. Maybe with the other materials I'm going to be sharing in the next days inside the Wealthy Minds group, I'm going to be able to go deep into that. But for today, I'm not going to be covering it because it's like one step ahead. It's a more advanced thing. Okay, so number 5 and last step, then you start promoting multiple offers. But still, when you start promoting multiple offers, don't just start promoting lots of offers and flooding them with lots of affiliate links and just going crazy about this. You still have to be careful when you start promoting this stuff, because when you start asking people to buy something, you have to first be confident that what you were suggesting to them or what you were asking them to buy is actually useful and good for them. And second, you have to make sure that they understand it. Okay, so you know that an offer is good for them. Okay, that's the first thing. But you have to make them understand that it's good for them. Otherwise, you're going to be just, you know, flooding them with things that for them is just you spamming them and trying to, you know, just trying to get a sale from them without helping them. And obviously, it's going to piss them off. So it's not just about delivering value, but actually showing people that it's your intention, that you want to help them, that you're not just concerned about their money, but that you want to help them. And that's actually the best way to do business. You know, there's nothing wrong with making money. The wrong thing is not helping people. If you can help people and make money at the same time, I think that there is nothing wrong with that. And they will, you know, your subscribers will understand that as long as you help them first and sell second. Okay, so these 5 steps are basically the 5 basic steps for anyone who wants to start building mailing lists. Now let me give you some other tips that are very, very important. First, we're going to talk about your metrics, just the things that you have to control. This part of the content is very Sarah is asking, what is step number 4? Step number 4 is delivering good content and good information for people who subscribe for your list. And step 5 then would be promoting offers. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to mention about step 5, a very nice strategy for promoting offers. To make it, because, you know, the problem when you are promoting something is that sometimes it sounds too salesy. You know, it seems that you're just trying to sell something. Although you're trying to help people, it looks like you're just trying to sell something because you're, at the end of the day, you are also trying to sell something. So, very nice tip. There is an example that I really like to use because it shows very well what I mean. but you can do this in many other ways. But basically, one thing that you want to do, let me actually even go back here because it's still related to step number 5, is to deliver is to promote the offers, and while you do this, make those offers part of your content. Let me give an example. For example, let's say that you are in the weight loss niche, just an example, random example, and you say that, and for example, you want to show people how to lose weight. So you tell them, okay, here is the strategy for X pounds in X days, for example. And then in that strategy, you give them some workouts that they can use that will help them lose weight. Real workouts, real information, useful content, and it's completely free for them. Then you give them some diet plans that they can follow, and that will also help them lose weight during that period of time. And then finally, you suggest them, for example, a supplement that they can use to boost their results and to actually lose weight much faster than just with the workouts and the diet plans. Well, as you can see, you gave them 3 useful things. The third one, the supplement, is an offer. You make money if they take that one. Okay, but you're making this part of the content. You're delivering them a complete strategy for losing X pounds in X days. And then you're just making the offer part of your content. All right? So when you do this, you deliver value and you don't sound too salesy. People will see that, not that this is you trying to sell them something, but as you giving them suggestions, and eventually one of those suggestions can be a paid product. Not everything that's good is free in this life, okay? So they're going to understand that as well. But it's important to make the offers part of your content. If you do this, you'll see that you're going to get lots of conversions and you're not going to damage your relationship with your subscribers, okay? So let me go ahead and start talking about the metrics. Well, the metrics that you have to control with your list building campaigns, this is actually a more advanced topic, okay? And probably not everything will be clear to you here on the webinar. So I'm going to give you kind of an overview of the metrics and the things that you have to watch when running list building campaigns. But then I'm going to give you more in-depth information about this, and I'm going to kind of break it down in multiple lessons and try to make it easier for you to understand this inside the group. Okay? Because email marketing it's an extensive topic. It's not possible to cover 100% of the things on the webinar. So I'm going to give you the directions here, but then I'm going to go deeper into details inside the group with my further posts, okay? So control your metrics. Well, first thing, your opt-in rate. That's probably your most important metric because it determines how many people you're putting on your list and how much money you can actually make with your campaigns. So it's basically the percentage of people who go to your squeeze page and do subscribe for your list. What is a good number here? It varies a lot. It depends on the squeeze page, on the niche, on the traffic source. But to give you an estimative and to give you a starting point or an initial direction, I think that something around 30 to 40% can be considered a decent opt-in rate. With some campaigns, it can be possible to reach like 60%. I have already hit 70% with some of my campaigns in the past. So it is possible, but usually something between 30 to 40% is already decent. Then one thing that you have to find out, and this one, you're not going to be able to have this metric right out of the gate. You're going to have to wait like 1-2 months until you can collect enough information to understand this metric, is your earnings per subscriber, but it's very, very important. Basically, you have to see how many people you can capture in 1 month, how many emails you can capture in 1 month, and then how much money you can make with those emails also in 1 month. So basically, let's say that you capture 100 people, or let's say 1,000 people, you build a list with 1,000 emails, and then in 1 month, marketing to those 1,000 emails, you get to make, for example, $2,000 in profits. So it means that your earnings per subscriber is $2 for the first month. In the other months, you also make more money, of course, but you may lose some subscribers, and it may get a little bit lower depending on how you are conducting the relationship with your list. Sometimes it can become even better if you establish a good relationship with them. So it varies a lot. But the first month is very important. So you measure the first month, and then you find out, for example, that you make like $2 per subscriber. If you make $2 per subscriber, then you already know how much you can afford to pay for your subscribers. I'd say that it's up to $2. If you pay $2 and you make $2 in the first month, well, everything that you make from the second month and on, it's just profits going to your pocket. Okay, so if you're paying, like, for example, let's say 30 cents per click on Facebook, just a random example, and you're getting one opt-in, one subscriber for every 3 clicks, it means that you are investing like 90 cents to get a subscriber. If your earnings per subscriber in the first month is $2, it's phenomenal. You are already making $1.10 in the first month. So it's great. Okay, just to give you an example on how it works. Then you have to control your unsubscribe rate. A normal unsubscribe rate is 1% for every message that you send. Sometimes a little bit more than that, but something around like 1%, maybe 2%. Anything beyond that is already a red flag. Okay, and that's considering the entire size of your list, not just people who open your email. So if you send 10,000 emails, it's 1% of 10,000 or 2% of 10,000. But usually, just 1% or so is reasonable. More than that can, maybe it means that you're not sending valuable content to people. The open rate for the fresh list, for a new list, it should be around 20, 25%, 15% if you have a good autoresponder. Okay, for old lists, it can go down to 4 or 5%. And for some lists, that are really quality lists, it can go up to 30, 35, sometimes even 40%. Okay, that's the normal open rate of a list. So just so you have a number to work as a parameter for you. And then you have to have the click-through rate of your emails. Now, some autoresponders calculate the click-through rate based on the number of people who actually open the email, and others calculate that based on the number of people who receive the email. If it's people who receive the email, well, then I'd say that something like, most of the times, I do this based on people who open the email. So 25%, 30% of people who open the email is good. So like 8, 9, 10% of the entire list is also decent for a relatively new list, and a list that's not, still too old. So just to give an idea on what metrics are involved and what metrics you have to keep in mind. If you're not taking notes, probably it's going to become confusing when you have to do this, but you're going to have a replay for you to double check everything. And also, I'm going to be sharing a lot more information about this inside the group. Okay, so how you turn a positive ROI? Well, email marketing, it's really all about testing. Okay, and and just before I go through this, I want to let you know that we are almost getting to the Q&A. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can already prepare them. I'm going to be answering all of the questions in a few minutes from now. Okay, so for you to turn a positive ROI, obviously you have to improve those metrics that I just mentioned, but it's very important that you split test things. And I see that many people, they set up campaigns and they really expected the campaigns to be profitable right out of the gate, and it's just not realistic. It's just not realistic. You have to split test. Your very first squeeze page, it's not going to be your best squeeze page. I can almost guarantee that to you. The first offers that you promote, they're not going to be the highest converting offers. The first email subjects that you use, they're not going to be the ones that will generate the best open rates. And the first call to actions that you use, they're not going to be the ones that will generate the best click-through rates. So what you have to do is to split test these elements. You don't have to split test everything at once, but always split test. Make change on your squeeze page, test different squeeze page and see what happens. If an offer is not converting, test other offers. If people are interacting with you, they are opening your emails, it's probably not that they are not interested in what you are promoting to them. It's just that particular offer that's not interesting, so just replace it. And definitely test different email subjects. I have a great post to make in our group about email subjects. I'm going to share with you some of the of my finds in the last like 3-4 years sending emails and doing email marketing. What were my top email subjects, and what things and what elements you can include in your email subject to get a better open rate. So keep an eye on the group for this post. I'm going to really go deep into details about email subjects there. And the same about call to actions. There are some rules that I have to follow for creating good call to actions, and I'm going to share that inside the group as well. But basically, the call to action, and especially now, because now Gmail is doing something very interesting. For some people, I think it's mostly on phones. When they access their Gmail account and they're going to check their emails, they're going to see the subject of your email, and if there is an hyperlink there, they're going to see the hyperlink as well. So what you put in the call to action, it's going to actually, people will see that before they even open the email. So it's very important that you do not scare them, or that you say something that's meaningful and that is, relevant to them, and it's going to actually kind of entice them to click on the email, and not the opposite, just make them ignore that email. Okay. Michelle is asking where I'm going to be sharing that information. Inside the Wealthy Minds group. Okay, some of the people in this webinar are not part of the Wealthy Minds group yet. I'm going to put the link again in the chat box, because I decided to invite all of my subscribers for this webinar, not just the Wealthy Minds members, because I think that email marketing is just so relevant for everybody. Okay, but you can join Wealthy Minds through that link in the chat box, and well, then you can, after you join the group, you're going to have a link to go to Facebook and also request to join the Facebook group. Then I'm gonna approve your request, and I'm gonna be able to access everything there. Okay. Okay. So let me move on here. Driving traffic, just the last thing, and then we're gonna go to the Q&A. So basically, when you drive traffic, as I said before, you can use pretty much any traffic source. What you have to find out is what is your earnings per subscriber and your cost per subscriber. And if you can make those numbers match, if you can at least break even there with the earnings per subscriber in the first month and the cost per subscriber, if you can at least break even there, it's already worth it. So any traffic source that allows you to at least break even with those two metrics, it's a good traffic source. And it's very important that you really know your metrics, because then you can be more competitive on the traffic sources. If you do not know your earnings per subscriber, for example, maybe spending like $1 or $2 per subscriber is going to scare you, and you're going to, just think that it's too much and you're not going to do it. But at the end of the day, in 2 months, you would be able to get a 100% ROI on those subscribers, for example. And you're not going to do that because you're just, scared of spending so much, and you're not able to, if you're not looking at all the numbers at the same time, eventually you're missing some information and you're going to make the wrong decisions. Okay, so all right, so that said, just a few important tips before the questions. So first, don't be too generic with your campaigns. When you build a mailing list, build a specific list. Just people who are interested, let's talk about internet marketing, for example. People who are interested in CPA, people who are interested in e-commerce, people who are interested in Facebook ads. If you're going to go to other niches like weight loss, people who are interested in workouts for losing weight, people who are interested in diet plans for losing weight. If you go specific, you're going to be able to first deliver content that's going to be relevant to your list, and second, promote offers that will be relevant to them as well. Another thing that's important is always to be congruent. If your list is about weight loss and workouts for losing weight, don't talk about other things that are sometimes a little bit related to weight loss, but not really related to workouts, because that's not what people are interested in. Be congruent. If they opt in for your list, if they subscribe for your list for the one reason, keep that in mind and always deliver content that's related to that reason. Okay. Test different giveaways. Sometimes a squeeze page, the opt-in rate of a squeeze page can go from very low to super high just if you change what you're giving away there. So make sure to always test different giveaways. Don't stick with just one and that's it. Okay, and keep it simple in the beginning. Email marketing is a huge science. There are lots and lots of things that are related to email marketing, and well, if you try to do everything at once, it's going to become a mess. So keep it as simple as possible, and that's definitely it's going to be the easiest and best way for you to get started. Okay, so now if you have any questions, I'm all yours and I'm all ears to answer your questions and help with whatever you need. So I already have some questions here in the chat box. Let me check the ones that I have here. I'm getting lots and lots of questions. I'm going to do my best to answer all of them on the webinar. In case I miss your question, just put that, just post the question on the group inside Facebook, and I'm going to answer the question there. Okay. Ramona is asking, if you have a new list of 20,000 subscribers, how do you introduce yourself before you start selling, or do you just start selling? No, you shouldn't start selling, but introducing yourself, well, maybe, if it's an opt-in list, if they did opt in to receive your emails, well, probably they already know who you are. If it's not an opt-in list, maybe you're going to have hard times monetizing that list. For me, just buying leads and stuff like that, it never really worked well. So, but if it's an opt-in list, they probably already know who you are. So start by helping them. What is their main concern? What is the reason why they subscribed for your list? Oh, they subscribed for my list to download a PDF about you know, how to play a certain game, or how to, you know, solve a specific problem. So talk about that problem. Give them other solutions. Give them more information about that. Help them with that first, and then you can start selling something to them. And when you start selling things to them, always make sure that those things are actually useful for them and good products, because, you know, you don't want to get just one sale from your from each of your subscribers. You want to get multiple sales, and they're going to buy from you again only if they have a good experience when they buy things from you. Alvin is asking, will there be a CP Evolution 3.0 soon? No, I don't have any intentions to create a 3.0 version. Actually, I'm updating the 2.0 version like almost every day. So I just intend to continue to do it and continue to update the 2.0 program, and I don't have the intention to create a new one. Dylan is asking, is scrapping emails with email grabbing, scrapping tools is a bad habit? Well, ethically speaking, yes. It's spamming, and it's not nice. And in terms of profiting from that, it's probably possible. Well, I'm not a spammer myself, so I don't know exactly what would be the strategies, but I know that some guys make decent money by doing that. But I think that it will never even compare to building your own list and establishing a relationship with people. Spamming, it will never be stable. It will never be consistent. You can make some money here and there, but things will come and go pretty fast, and you will never be able to build a sustainable business with that. So it's not a great habit. It's a possible route, but not something that I would advise you to do. Okay, so Michelle is asking, where do we find really great giveaways? Well, sometimes you can get PLR products and products with resale rights. Like 80% of those products are just crap, so you have to filter very well. But there are some gems there. You can find some really good products. And sometimes if it's something that if you're willing to take the time to make some research, you can just save people time. You don't have to give them new information, but you have to give them useful, actionable information. So if you can make your own research and, for example, create sometimes a PDF with 5 pages that help them solve a problem, and you know, and for them to find that information on the internet and put everything together, maybe it would take like 5, 6 days, 7 days. And if you do that instead of, you know, them having to do that, well, then you can deliver that PDF to them, and they're going to be very satisfied with the content. And you know, it doesn't have to be long or complicated. Sometimes just 5 pages will do it, as long as that's real information. And you know, it's basically, it's going to be you making the research for them. You know, we are always very lazy. Human beings are lazy. So if you can make the research for people and save them a ton of time, they will certainly appreciate that. Yogesh is asking, how many subscribers do you have? I don't even have that answer now on top of my mind. I think that, well, it's because I'm always cleaning my lists. I should have, like, if you consider all of my lists, you know, in all of the niches and everything that I do, I think that I should have like 300, maybe 400 active subscribers. I have way more emails because I've been doing this for like, you know, 7, 8 years now. So if you consider all the emails that I captured since I got started, probably, you know, more than 1 million subscribers or 2 million subscribers. But lots of those emails are just no longer useful nowadays. So I would say like 300 active subscribers, probably a bit more than that. 300,000, sorry. 300,000. Rick is asking, what is the best email client to use, like Outlook? What's the best email client to use to capture emails, like Outlook or Thunderbird? Well, I do use Outlook personally. I think Thunderbird is better, but I've been using Outlook for so long, and, you know, migrating to Thunderbird, I think it would be a big headache for me now, so I don't use it now. But that's for personal use. For capturing emails, you should use an autoresponder, I think, like Aweber, MailChimp, GetResponse, and that's the best way to capture emails. Bibak is asking, I'm not the master of anything, but I want to have email lists of mine for affiliate marketing. How can I do that? You don't have to be an expert in something to help people with that something. Sometimes you can just find useful content on the internet and share that with them. You can just, you know, get other products from other people and promote that to them. Or sometimes get PLR products and give those products away for free to your subscribers, but you don't have to know a lot yourself. If you're willing to make some research, if you're willing to take like, a few minutes every day to make some research and find something useful for your subscribers, that's already enough. Like, for example, I'm not a master when it comes to e-commerce, although I do have some experience with e-commerce and have done some things in that area. I'm not one of the top guys in the e-com industry. And still, I realized that many of my subscribers were interested in learning about e-commerce. So I just hosted a webinar with a guy who really is one of the top experts out there, one of the top Shopify sellers, and he shared a lot of information with us. So I helped my subscribers in something that they wanted to learn more about, and that I was not really a master in that topic. So you can, do the same thing. Not necessarily bring someone to host a webinar, but just share information that you get from other people. Vishan, what do you do if you don't really have any good content to share with your subscribers? People won't buy from you just because you're telling them to do so. So you have to share good content with them. It's more than just giving them useful information, and just waiting for them to read those emails, to send them an email promoting something. It's about building a relationship with them. You have to show that you really care about them, and not just show that you care about them. You should really care about them, and you should really do your best to help them. And as I said before, you don't have to have that content. You don't have to be able to come up with that content from nothing. It's just a research thing. If you make some research, the information is out there. It's on the internet. You just help them find and organize the information. If you can do just that,